Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, we welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our Facebook live listeners, and our listeners over Zoom to this day 10 of Shri Navadvipa Dham Parikrama. Today is our last day of the Parikrama. So can we start the slideshow, please?
We'll go from Rudradvipa that we were yesterday. We'll continue there for a long time, and then we'll enter back to Antardvipa, where we started on the first day. Rudradvipa signifies Sakhyam, and Antardvipa signifies Atmanivedana. Basically, we are going from Belpukur in Rudradvipa to ISKCON Shri Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir in Antardvipa. A total distance of 8 kilometers today. So again, let's start offering our obeisances at our starting point. Next slide, please. As it says, next slide, the Rudradvipa, yes, we are offering obeisances at Shri Rasasthali, Dhira Shamira at Shri Rudradvipa.
So yesterday, like we saw, this Dhira Shamira at Shri Rudradvipa is this Rasasthali, which is of Shri Vrindavan Dham. Can we have the next slide, please? Yesterday we were singing this beautiful song, Nache Nache Nitai Guru Dejamoriya Bihare Nangaro Tire Shehiro Shomire. That same Dhira Shamira of Shri Brajadham is manifesting here at Rudradvipa on the bank of the Ganges. So here we offer our obeisances to our starting point of the Parikrama today at Shri Rudradvipa.
So we actually toured all the 8 petals of the lotus of Shri Navadvipa Dham. And today we'll be returning back to the central whirl of the lotus and thus completing our complete parikrama of the 9 islands of Shri Navadvipa Dham. So today it'll be a little bit longer session, and from tomorrow it'll be announced what we start from tomorrow. So we chant as we go to the next place with this Madhai Ghat. From here, we keep chanting Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Nitai Gaura, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Sachimaya Pranadhana Gaura Hari. Next slide, please. From here, we go as we are meditating on Lord Gauranga's moonlight face. We go to Shri Madhai Ghat. Next slide. This is the Madhai Ghat, which was actually prepared by Madhai of the Jagai Madhai fame. Many of you may know Jagai Madhai pastime, but Jagai and Madhai, they were born into a very high-class Brahmin family in Navadvipa. Actually, their names were Jagannath and Madhavarai. And so they were, Jagannath was called Jagai, and Madhava was called Madhai. So Jagannath and Madhavarai, they were the sons of Raghunath Rai. But due to some kind of bad association, they became meat eaters, drunkards, debauchees. Next slide, please. They were gamblers, murderers. This is Jagai and Madhai, Urf Jagannath, aka alias Jagannath and Madhavarai. They were caused so much disturbance that respectable people started avoiding them completely. And then when Lord Chaitanya inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, he told Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, who used to preach together, Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya, and Nityananda Prabhu, the Avadhut Shiromani, they used to preach together. And Lord Chaitanya told them, go door to door and request, beg, whoever you meet, please chant the holy names of the Lord. Shuno Shuno Nityananda, Shuno Haridas, Sarvatra Amaragya, Koroho Prakash, Prati Ghare Ghare Gya, Koroe Bhikha, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Sikha. Since Jagai and Madhai, since they were the most fallen, in fact, it is said that they were the incarnations, the fourth incarnation of Shishupal and Dantavakra, who were Jaya and Vijaya originally in the spiritual world. It is said that they took 3 births as demons because of an offense to the 4 Kumaras, as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, as Shishupal and Dantavakra, and Ravana and Kumbhakarna. In this, and in the fourth incarnation, they came as Jagai and Madhai, Jagannath and Madhavarai. Because they were so fallen, that's why they were the most suitable candidates to receive the Lord's mercy. And Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Prabhu, they decided, let's go. If they can become devotees, then this will be the proof of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So they approached Jagai and Madhai when they were completely intoxicated. And Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, they asked him, Jagai, Madhai, chant Krishna's holy names, chant, chant. And Jagai and Madhai, they got enraged. And they started running after Jagai and Madhai. And they chased Nityananda and Haridas, who had to run for their lives.
Then that evening, when Haridas Thakur, when they came back to give the preaching report to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu asked, so how did it go? What did you all do today? Then Haridas Thakur was so much in anxiety. Haridas Thakur said, Mahaprabhu, give me a new partner. I will not go with this Avadhut Mahashai. This Nityananda Prabhu is mad. He is going behind those drunkards, Jagai and Madhai, to give them Harinam. And they are coming to beat us. We just today, somehow or the other, we saved our life and we came. But tomorrow onwards, I will not go with this Nityananda. He's too much, Lord Chaitanya. I cannot risk my life like this. So they were just having this intimate leela with Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. But the very next day, Lord Nityananda again told Haridas, Haridas, let's go. Let's go for preaching to fulfill Mahaprabhu's instruction. So then Haridas again, out of his love for Lord Nityananda, he accompanied Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu went and searched, where are those 2, Jagai and Madhai? And Nityananda Prabhu found them. And again, Nityananda Prabhu ran behind them this time and said, please, please, Jagai, Madhai, please, once you say Krishna, just one time, say Krishna. And then this Jagai and Madhai, they were so intoxicated. They were drinking, intoxication from an earthen pot. So then Madhai got so angry at Lord Chaitanya, at Lord Nityananda, that he just, took that earthen pot, he broke it in the ground, and then he just took the broken earthen pot and he threw it at Lord Nityananda. As soon as he threw it on Lord Nityananda's forehead, it hit, the earthen pot hit Lord Nityananda's forehead. Blood was oozing out. And seeing this, Haridas Thakur immediately ran away from there to inform Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya, he knew. He immediately came to know that Nityananda Prabhu has been hurt like this and blood is flowing down. And Nityananda Prabhu just sat like this, holding his forehead. And then, can we have the next slide, please? Lord Chaitanya immediately appeared at that very spot and he invoked, he called out angrily, Sudarshan, come. And then Sudarshan came running to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was about to cut off the head of Madhai for this grave offense that Madhai had done by striking the, Lord Nityananda, the Adi Guru. But Lord Nityananda, as we see in this picture, Lord Nityananda is stopping Lord Chaitanya and he's protecting Madhai. Can we have the next slide, please? Lord Nityananda Prabhu is saying, my dear Lord, please, my dear Lord, please become pacified. Please don't be so angry. You, this incarnation of yours, you're not supposed to take up the Sudarshan Chakra, my Lord. You see, in Satya Yuga, the demons and the demigods, the devotees, the demons and the devotees, they resided on different planets. In Treta Yuga, they came in the same planet, like Lord Ramachandra, but Ravana was there in a different country. Lord Ramachandra was in Ayodhya, Ravana in Sri Lanka. So they came to the same planet in Treta Yuga, but different countries. Then when Dwapar Yuga came, at that time, my Lord, the demons and the devotees, they started staying in the same family, like we have the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So in the same family, there were devotees and demons. But in Kali Yuga, how has it changed? In Kali Yuga, we have the devotee and the demon staying in the same person. Within the same person, there are demoniac propensities. Within the same person, there are devotional propensities also. So Lord Nityananda said to Lord Chaitanya, please, my Lord, please, you stop. Please stop. Don't kill Jagai and Madhai. Don't kill Madhai, please. Because this incarnation of yours, you have come to kill the demoniac propensities in everyone. Because if you want to kill like this, then you have to kill everyone in Kali Yuga. This is not the purpose of your incarnation, my Lord. Lord Nityananda was trying to, pacify Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya was so angry. He was so angry that, Madhai had made Lord Nityananda Prabhu bleed. But then listening to this merciful words of Lord Nityananda, Jagai, who was the elder brother, he immediately surrendered to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Please, please, Mahaprabhu, forgive me, forgive me. But Madhai was feeling so scared that how can a person be so merciful? I hit him, made him bleed, but still he's not feeling angry on me. Still he wants to give me love. How can a person be so merciful? And Madhai was completely shocked and he could not move. So Lord Nityananda came to Madhai and said to him, Mere chish koloshir kana, ta bole ki prem debo na, means that you, my dear Madhai, you have hit me with an earthen pot. But does that mean that I will not give you prema? How can that mean like that? I will give you prema. Lord Nityananda held the hand of Madhai and he brought him to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, he was standing and Nityananda Prabhu said, please Mahaprabhu, accept them. Accept them as your disciples, forgive them. Then Lord Chaitanya said, my dear Nitai, because you are recommending them, therefore I will accept them. Then Lord Nityananda, he gave tulasi leaves in the hands of Jagai and Madhai and said, please offer this to Lord Chaitanya. And then for a moment it is said when Jagai and Madhai did that, for one moment, the golden form of Lord Chaitanya became completely black like Krishna. Because Lord Chaitanya absorbed all the sins of Jagai and Madhai. Just for one moment, it is said that Lord Chaitanya's body became completely black and immediately it became golden again. But then Madhai and Jagai, they promised to Lord Nityananda that they will never, ever, ever engage in any sinful activities. And they promised to Lord Chaitanya that they will not do any sins and they will now become pure Vaishnavas. So at this very moment, when Lord Chaitanya absorbed all the sins of Jagai and Madhai, let us see what is happening in Yamaloka. Let's go to the next slide, please. So here again, we see here Jagai and Madhai getting accepted and being forgiven by Lord Nityananda and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Next slide, please. So this is the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. And now let's see what is happening. Next slide, please. So when this happened, this moment when Tulasi leaves were handed to the hands of Lord Chaitanya, at that very moment, Chitragupta, he was shocked. Chitragupta, he is the accountant of Yamaraj. He keeps accounts of every living entity's, sinful activities, pious activities. He keeps accounts. So Chitragupta was maintaining a separate ledger for Jagai and Madhai. And suddenly, Chitragupta saw that the ledger is wiped clean. There is nothing. Everything is gone white. What happened? What happened? What did happen? Chitragupta was shocked. He came to Yamaraj and Yamaraj, he showed, because Yamaraj, he was actually constructing a separate hell for punishing Jagai and Madhai. For welcoming Jagai and Madhai, a separate hell was getting constructed. And Lord, what happened? That Yamaraj was shocked. Seeing the accounts totally clean of Jagai and Madhai, Yamaraj fainted right there. When Yamaraj fainted, at that very time, at that very moment, it is said that Lord Shiva, Param Vaishnava Lord Shiva, he from Kailash, he was also seeing this beautiful Leela of Gauranitai delivering Jagai and Madhai. And he immediately understood Yamaraj has fainted. So Lord Shiva left Kailash and he came to Yamaloka and he came and whispered the name of Gauranga, 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 Gauranga in the ears of Yamaraj. And then these two are actually Mahajans. We have 12 Mahajans. So Yamaraj and Lord Shiva are very close friends. So then Lord Shiva said, this is the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that Jagai and Madhai have been delivered. So with Lord Shiva, with Yamaraj, and with everyone in Yamaloka, they started doing beautiful Gaura Kirtan. Lord Shiva started dancing, Yamaraj was dancing. So there was nice Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Kale Kale. So like this, they were having beautiful time immersed in the holy names in Yamaloka by Lord Shiva and Yamaraj. Next slide, please. So then, after the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai, so sorry, please can we go back to the previous slide?
Actually, if we can go 4 slides above.
Yes.
Before previous, where the Madhai Ghat was there. Yes, before that. Yes. So when Jagai and Madhai were delivered, Madhai, he one time approached Lord Nityananda in a very solitary place. He said, "My Lord, Nityananda, you are present within the heart of every living entity. And I have harmed so many of them. If I would know all of those who I have harmed, then I could beg forgiveness, but I don't even remember who I will have harmed because I was always intoxicated. Please tell me how all those people against whom I've committed so many offenses, how might they become pleased with me? If you are merciful, please advise me." This is a proof that Madhai was so remorseful. It's not about just saying sorry, but it's about feeling how the others must have felt. And from that point of view, promising, Jagai and Madhai, they promised. They just didn't say, "Sorry, sorry, 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 sorry. Oh, Lord Chaitanya, sorry, sorry, please, please forgive me." No, they said, they promised, if you really are sorry, then we will promise we will not do it again. If we are really sorry, then we will feel from that how the other person may have felt. Until then, it is just words in one sense, which is better than not doing anything. But this is a proof. Madhai actually felt how the others must have felt to whom he harmed, and he wanted to beg forgiveness from them. So Lord Nityananda said, "Look, I will instruct you, but construct a bathing ghat on Ganga. And when people come to take their bath there, then all of them will bless you. Oh, Madhai is so wonderful. He made this particular arrangement for us." And then you pay obeisances to everyone who comes to take bath with great humility. If you do this, then everyone will forgive your offenses, because you don't know who will come. Everyone who comes there will, whether you know them, you don't know them, you may have offended them. So that way you can get free from the offense. So it's very important when we offend someone, it is not just a thing of begging forgiveness. Yes, we must do that, but we must also do something to serve them, to make them happy. Not not only say I'm sorry, but also serve them to make them happy. Find out what is it that they really like, and then serve them in that way. Then Krishna will also be pleased. Otherwise, the Vaishnava may forgive. If we have committed any Vaishnava aparadh and we beg forgiveness from the Vaishnava may forgive. But there is a Krishna component also. Krishna is also offended that we offended a Vaishnava. How to take care of that offense? That component of the Vaishnava offense can be taken care by serving and pleasing that Vaishnava. Then Krishna also forgives that particular aparadha. So that's what he did. He made a ghat where people can come and take bath as a service to them, and then he paid obeisances. This is what Nityananda Prabhu asked him to do. And when Madhai received this advice, he circumambulated Lord Nityananda so many times. And then he left, and everyone saw how Madhai was so diligent, so careful in preparing a wonderful bathing ghat on Ganga, while chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, just shedding tears while he was making this ghat. Madhai, anyone who would come to bathe in this Madhai ghat, he would offer them his humble obeisances. He would beg for forgiveness. Please, I've committed so many offenses. Unknowingly, knowingly, I may have committed unto you also. Please excuse me for all offenses and bless me. And then, seeing this attitude, everyone would cry. And when they saw the tears of Madhai, and they would remember, oh Lord Govinda, by mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the ruins of this Madhai Ghat is still visible today. This is the Madhai Ghat. This is the Ghat, the bathing place which was made by Madhai and paid obeisances to the devotees. Right? So then we go 4 or 5 slides later to Nidaya Ghat.
So at this place in Madhai Ghat, we beg for blessings from Madhai, that just as how he sincerely served the devotees and, so wonderfully, he received the utmost mercy of Lord Nityananda. By Madhai's mercy, we beg at this place, by Madhai's mercy, that we may also become qualified to receive that mercy from Lord Nityananda. So with this prayer, we keep walking and we come now to this place called as Nidaya Ghat. Nidaya Ghat, it is said that Daya means mercy. Nidaya means no mercy. So there's a very, very, very heart-shattering pastime here, that it is said that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leaving home from Navadvipa and for taking sannyas, it is said that when Mahaprabhu actually crossed the Ganga from this particular ghat, and he swam all the way to Katwa. Katwa is the place just couple hours from Navadvipa, and Mahaprabhu swam that distance by the Ganga and he reached Katwa, and that's where Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. Mahaprabhu took sannyas, it is said that at the end of January in the year 1510, and Mahaprabhu was, because Mahaprabhu appeared in February on Gaur Purnima, which is the day of Holi. So Mahaprabhu, just before his 25th birthday, Mahaprabhu was 24 years, of age when Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So his sannyas name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And on the day that he decided that he will leave home and go to take sannyas, he had informed only Lord Nityananda. Can we have the next slide, please? You see, Lord Chaitanya, this is on the eve of him leaving his home, and Lord Chaitanya is meeting with his confidential associates. And and you can see even Lord Brahma and many other devatas are also there who are worshipping the Lord, invisible to all the present devotees. The Narad Muni is there, Advaita Acharya Prabhu is there, Nityananda Prabhu is there, and all these devotees, they are, Lord Nityananda Prabhu and all the devotees were revealed by Lord Chaitanya that he was going to leave home and take sannyas. So the end of the night, it is said that Mahaprabhu in the middle of the night, he got up and he prepared to leave his home. And it is said that Mother Shachi Devi, Lord Chaitanya's blessed mother, she just stood in total shock, and she just stood like a pillar, like a helpless pillar, as immovable as a pillar, and she was just shedding tears of separation from Lord Chaitanya. She was just crying that my son is leaving. It is said that Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time, he circumambulated his mother 3 times and he offered his obeisances at her lotus feet. She took the dust of her lotus feet on his head, and then Lord Chaitanya came to this particular ghat called as Nidaya Ghat, and Lord Chaitanya swam across and he came to Katwa. The people of Navadvipa named this ghat Nidaya Ghat because they said that how could you, Mother Ganges, allow our Nimai, allow the life of Nadia to leave from here. Your God is merciless, no mercy. How could you let Lord Chaitanya leave? So that is why this Ghat came to be known as, the one without the mercy. Can we have the next slide, please? This slide is when Lord Chaitanya reached Katwa. You can see that there's the barber who is coming to, shave off the black, soft, golden, curly lock of hair of Lord Chaitanya, and devotees are crying. They are crying in so much of separation that Lord Chaitanya, he is, cutting off his beautiful hair. They could not tolerate this. So they collected, you can see here how, how devastated these devotees are when Lord Chaitanya the barber was about to shave Lord Chaitanya's hair. And it is said that in this Katwa, that till today, if we go there, we can see the Kesha Samadhi of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Lord Chaitanya's hair is preserved in a Samadhi, and that Samadhi is there till today. It is called the Kesh Samadhi, the hair Samadhi of Lord Chaitanya. So then after getting shaved,
so many of them fainted as the barber started shaving the hair, cutting the hair, beautiful hair, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for all the devotees, they understood he is the Supreme Personality of God and he is the Supreme Enjoyer. And such a Supreme Enjoyer is having to renounce. This is one of Krishna's greatest qualities, renunciation. Everything belongs to him, but he gives us to use it. He gives us as gifts of qualities, gifts of nature, so many different things, and we're not even grateful. We misuse it, but he keeps giving and keeps giving. And here is the supreme most example of renunciation, that he renounced. Why did he shave off his hair? Why did he renounce everything that actually belongs to him? When we renounce, we don't renounce anything that belongs to us, because nothing in this world belongs to us. We just renounce the possessiveness that we have, that this thing belongs to me. We just renounce the conception that things belong to me, because actually nothing belongs to us but Lord Chaitanya. Everything in the universe is his creation. It belongs to him. And he is renouncing what belongs to him. Why? For us. The only reason he took sannyas was that he could preach, was that people were not listening to the instructions that he had come to give, the example of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he said, I will set my own example of how to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And in those days, the sannyasis used to have a very high status. Of course, now also in Vedic societies, sannyasis do have very high status, but in general materialistic realm, at that time also people used to consider sannyasi, they would listen to him. So he took sannyas so that he could preach, people would listen to him and follow, and for their own benefits.
So then right after this, you see how devotees are fainting. They're just going mad that Lord Chaitanya is taking sannyas. So then after Mahaprabhu was shaved off, he immediately took bath in the Ganges. He wore on his saffron clothes. Can we have the next slide, please? You can see here Lord Chaitanya finally as a sannyasi receiving sannyas from Srila Keshav Bharati in Katwa, and Mahaprabhu received the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki
Jai.
And then the next slide, please. After Lord Chaitanya, he received sannyas. Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to actually go to Vrindavan. But Mother Shachi, she was feeling so much separation from her son. She told Lord Chaitanya that, please, my dear son, don't go too away from Gauradesh. Don't go too away from Navadvipa. Stay nearby. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya, he actually made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri. So Lord Chaitanya here, he is leaving for Sri Jagannath Puri. Next slide, please. So Shachi Mata here, we can see that she would, every day, she would make offerings, and Lord Chaitanya would personally come and eat whatever Shachi Mata would cook. And the glorious wife of Lord Chaitanya, Vishnu Priya Devi, she started worshipping Lord Chaitanya so devotedly that she never felt that Lord Chaitanya had left her physically, because she was so intimately connected with him through her love. So it is said that Lord Chaitanya eternally resides in 4 places: Shochira Randhane, Shrivashe Rangane, Nitaye Nortane, and Raghaver Bhavane. Means whenever Shachi Mata cooks, Lord Chaitanya is there. Shrivas Angan, whenever there is kirtan at Shrivas Angan, Lord Chaitanya is there. 3rd place, whenever Lord Nityananda dances, whenever Lord Nityananda dances, Lord Chaitanya is there. And the 4th place is in Panihati, at the home of Raghav Pandit. That Lord Chaitanya is there in the home of Raghav Pandit.
Next slide, please. So now we have completed the Rudradvipa Parikrama, and we go back to Antardvipa from where we started. Shri Antardvipa Dham ki Jai. Let's go to the next slide, please. So we are coming to Antardvipa, and remember we went to Yogapith. We saw the neem tree under which Nimai was born. And now we've seen how Nimai, from his appearance in Yogapith to Nimai's sannyas, and how Nimai became Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And now we are coming back to Yogapith. This is the temple of Shri Mati Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra. Next slide, please. And from there, welcome back to Shri Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir ki Jai. This is the Mahamilan Utsav. Every year when there are, during the Navadvipa Mandal Parikrama, 2 weeks before the Gaur Purnima festival, every year there are several groups who perform Navadvipa Mandal Parikrama. There are some Bengali group, there is a Hindi group, there is a Russian group, there is a English group, there is group for different kinds of Westerners, different devotees, and even more others who organize their own yatra. All of them, everyone, they may choose different, they may start from different dvipas, but they end up in Antardvipa. And then there is a Mahamilan Utsav of all these groups, as you can see on the left-hand side, where everyone comes together. And then there is a huge kirtan and pandal. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga.
Nitai Gauranga,
Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Gaurahari.
Nitai Gauranga, Gaurahari.
Sachi Mayur Prana Dhana Gaurahari.
Sachi Mayur Prana Gaurahari.
Gaura, Gaura, Gaurahari.
Gaura, Gaura, Gaurahari.
Jai. So now, congratulations on completing the Navadvipa Dham Parikrama, the virtual Parikrama, and receiving the mercy of Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga. Next slide, please. And now is the time for quiz, a pop quiz. Let's see if you can identify certain key places. It will also act as a division, so we'll request our organizers to open all the lines, and it's free for all quiz. We will show open all the lines and keep the PPT running because the quiz will be on some of the slides. So please, can we have the PPT again? And as well as open all the lines. Next slide, please. Okay, who can identify which place is this?
Bhajan Kutir.
Yeah, very well. The Bhajan Kutir of Srila Prabhupada as we enter Sri Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. Next slide.
Chandrodaya Mandir.
Mayapur, Chandrodaya Mandir.
Prabhupada Pushpanjali Mandir and Mayapur.
And what is on the right hand side?
Right hand side is Prabhupada Pushpanjali.
Prabhupada Pushpa Samadhi.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. And what's on the left hand side? POVB. Very good. Very good.
Vedic Planetarium.
Very
All
good.
right, next slide, please. What is this?
Newly built Chandrodaya Mandir.
This is Prabhupada Samadhi in Mayapur.
Yes, this is Srila Prabhupada's Pushpa Samadhi in
Samadhi
the Mayapur
Mayapur.
town.
Very good.
Next slide, please. Now we'll have beautiful darshan of the Panchatattva deities.
Panchatattva deities.
Bhagavani ki
Jai.
Hey.
Next slide, please. Jai Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Rudradvipa Mahavishnu Jvalantam
Narsinghavadi.
So here the quiz is stopped for some time and we resume again after we have darshan of all the deities. Next slide, please. This is Sri Radha Madhava in their
Sri Radha
wonderful
Madhava.
favorite dress. Yes.
Radha Madhava.
Yes. Next slide. Who are these deities?
Sri Radha Madhava.
Radha Madhava.
Radha Madhava.
Radha Madhava, beautiful again. Next slide. This is Sri Radha Madhava and
Ashtasakhi Radha Madhava. Ashtasakhi Radha
They are
Madhava.
wearing Manipuri outfit. They are wearing Manipuri outfit. Very well. Next slide, please. Okay, quiz.
Who can identify this place?
Harihara Kshetra.
Harihara
Harihara
Kshetra.
Kshetra.
Yeah, wonderful. That's wonderful. And when we were in the Harihar Kshetra temple, we were waiting for the temple to open. We were sitting in the courtyard and Kalasudha started singing Gopi Gita and listening to her Gopi Gita. So many other people also came around and started singing as well. So we were waiting for Sri Harihara's darshan while singing Gopi Gita. And on the left-hand side, you can see that there are so many tents which are there. All the devotees, when they come, they start in the morning at 6 o'clock. The yatra starts. People start walking, and then they reach the destination place by around 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Then they have darshan, they take rest, and then there is dinner prasad at 4:30. Lunch come dinner is 4:30, and then everyone goes back in their tents and they take rest in the tents overnight. And next day morning again 6 a.m. get ready to start walking. Blissful time in the Navadvipa Mandal Parikrama. Next slide, please. Who can identify this temple?
Remember.
Madan Gopal.
Yes, who said Madan Gopal?
Madan Gopal.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol,
Yes.
wonderful. This is the wonderful temple of Sri Madan
Madan
Gopal.
Gopal.
Where, in whose house is this Madan Gopal deity?
In Murari Gupta's house.
Neelambara Chakravarti.
No.
Yes.
Neelambara
Who is Neelambar Chakravarti? How
Chakravarti.
is he related to Lord Chaitanya?
Maternal grandfather.
Hari
Father.
Bol.
Very good, very good. It's wonderful to
And you
see
both
that all of
said
you have been
that.
attentive. Next slide, please. Which place is this?
Chankasi's.
No.
It's written there.
This Madhipur.
Mahatpura.
Mahatpura.
Yes, this is Mahatpur, Mahatpura. And this Mahatpur, yesterday we had gone to Mahatpur, day before yesterday. And Mahatpur is also known as Madhaipur village. Because this was the place where Jagai and Madhai had come. And behind, these are the deities of Gaur Nitai with Jagai and Madhai. And on there, where you can see me also taking a picture, behind is the temple of this temple where the deities are. And it was so wonderful to pay obeisances and roll in the dust here. So you can see some of the dust of Navadvipa Dham on me. And I feel very, very fortunate to have had the opportunity of having the dust of Sri Navadvipa Dham. Next slide. Can someone identify this place? This is where we are with Ma, Baba, and Kalasudha, myself. But which place is this?
Nimai's neem tree.
No.
Namisharanna.
No.
Kalam Bricks.
No.
No.
Good guesses. Good
Very
guesses.
good guesses, though.
Bilba tree.
Yes, who is
Yes.
that? Bilba tree. Garima?
Bel Pukul.
Oh, Bilva tree.
Yes.
The Kumaras.
This is the Bilba Vriksha, where Lord Shiva was there. Thank you. Wonderful. Next slide, please. In Rudradvipa. Which dweep is it in? I already answered it, but which dweepa it was there, this Bilva tree?
Rudradvipa.
Rudradvipa. Next slide, please. Which is this place?
Madhai Ghat.
No.
No.
Very close.
No,
Nidaya.
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 Nidaya Ghat. This is the place from where we are waiting for the boat to come so that we can go to the cross Mother Ganges from Nidaya Ghat. Next slide, please. This is at 6 a.m. in the morning at that time. Which area is this?
We have not, this is out of syllabus actually. Please forgive us. But
Beginning of the bridge.
Huh?
Beginning of the bridge.
Oh, the bridge. Well, good guess. It is right after the bridge in the city of Navadvipa. There's a very beautiful park that they have made very recently. And they have this beautiful deity of Lord Gauranga, who is, I think he's almost like 21 feet tall. Very, very big Lord Chaitanya. So this is from there. We just wanted to share this. This is out of syllabus. Forgive us for that. Next slide, please.
Double.
Where is this?
Narasimhapalli.
Next. So here, the quiz is over, but you can see
You
Lord
all did
Chaitanya.
wonderfully.
Please give yourselves a huge round of applause, and can we please request the lines to be muted again? Can we have the lines muted again, please? So here we see that Lord Chaitanya, on the left-hand side photograph, Lord Chaitanya is sitting very sadly. He's very sad because, you know, we finished Navadvipa Mandal Parikrama. It's a very sad, and yet it's a very blissful time also. So Lord Chaitanya is showing his bliss also in the next picture, that, you know, it is a mixed feeling of sadness and happiness together. So this is the emotions that we are also feeling, and trust us that Lord Chaitanya, he was also so happy that we were traveling with all of you together. We were all together traveling the land of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is also going to feel separation from all of you wonderful devotees. Next slide, please.
So Lord Chaitanya, he's got unlimited mercy, unlimited forgiveness, and all he wants is just that we become his devotees, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Next slide, please. So this is the Navadvipa Mandal Parikrama, all the 9 islands. We started from Antardvipa, then we went to Simantadvipa. From there we went to Gotrumadvipa, Madhyadvipa, then Koladvipa, Ritudvipa, Janudvipa, then Modadrumadvipa. From there we went to Rudradvipa and back to Antardvipa today. Thank you so much for your association. Next slide, please. And from tomorrow, we will follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after he takes sannyas in Navadvipa. He goes to Jagannath Puri, and we follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sri Purushottam Kshetra Parikrama from tomorrow. So please continue, let us continue following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and have darshan of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and wonderful pastime places in Jagannath Puri, which is also called Sri Purushottam Kshetra. In Purushottama month, we are going to do the Parikrama of Sri Purushottam Kshetra, pastime places of Lord Chaitanya, different places, pastimes of places of Sri Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Devi ki jai.
So today we thought that, you know, we heard about the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai, and especially the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So there's a very, very beautiful song which is written by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and this song is Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachre Amar Mon. So may we request the organizers to please put this in the chat box, and we'll read the translation very quickly.
Chanting the holy name, Doyal Nitai Chaitanya. Oh my mind, please dance. Oh my mind, please dance. Oh my mind, please dance.
Oh, such a merciful personality as Nityananda Prabhu is not to be found anywhere. He suffers a beating from Jagai and Madhai and still gives them pure love of God. When your offenses are vanquished, you will obtain the treasure of love of God. But in these names of Chaitanya and Nitai, there is no consideration of any offenses. Once you have a taste for the chanting of the name of Krishna, bondage to this world will come to an end.
When there is attachment to the holy name of Krishna, the life of a living being very easily become successful. Oh, without affection for Krishna, life is simply useless. At the end of life, you will obtain the beautiful vision of Radha and Shyama in Vrindavan, but only when the mercy of Lord Gauranga is first received. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. That's why before we go to Dham Parikrama during Kartik, we have to take blessings from Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon. Nashri Amar Mon, Nashri Amar Mon, Nashri Amar Mon, Nashri Amar Mon. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon. Amon Doya Tonai, Doya Tonai, Marke Prema Dai, Doya Tonai, Aparadhe Jabe Pave Premata, Ore Aparadhe Dure Jabe Pave Premata, O Name Aparadhe Vichar Tonai, O Name Aparadhe Vichar Tonai, Tokon Krishna Name Ruchi Habe Kuchi Bebanta, Tokon Krishna Name Ruchi Habe Kuchi Bebanta. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon. Krishna Name Anurato Hobe, Krishna Name Anurato Hobe, Anandaya Se Shafal Hobe Jive Rajiva, Anandaya Se Shafal Hobe Jive Rajiva. Krishna Rati Vina Jivanta Vichere, Krishna Rati Vina Jivanta Vichere, Vrindavane Radha Shave Pave Darshan, Eshe Vrindavane Radha Shave Pave Darshan. Gauradvipa Hore, Gauradvipa Hore. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nashri Amar Mon.
Jai Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki
Jai.
Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki
Jai.
Shri Navadvipa Dham ki
Jai.
Shri Navadvipa Dham Parikrama ki
Jai.
Jai Nidaya Gaur Sitanath Premanande.
Hari.
So we can open up the lines. If there are any questions, comments, reflections, we can take that now.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji, Dharma Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for such a nectarian class. It was so amazing. It was so wonderful, and I could feel that I'm just in Mayapur and seeing everything with my own eyes. So I'm seeing everything through your eyes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. I have a question. When you were talking about renunciation, that how Krishna has this quality, quality, renunciation. What is a renunciation for us in a devotee life? What do we consider a real renunciation, especially being a householder?
Yes, real renunciation, as we were, as Srila Prabhupada explains, as is explained by our acharyas, is not necessarily to give. Even Lord Chaitanya not necessarily to give up our position or the place or our situation. Sthane sthita shruti-gatam, which means Lord Chaitanya says, stay where you are. Wherever we are, stay there, and grihe thako, bone thako, shada hari bole thako. Just keep chanting the name of Hari. That is real renunciation. Because we are chanting in the mood of understanding that everything belongs to you, Krishna, not me. Real renunciation is to give up the conception that this is mine. For example, we think our kids are ours, or our spouses belong to us. They are mine. That conception, if we renounce it in a way that they actually belong to Krishna, my kids belong to Krishna, their souls actually belong to Krishna. I just gave part of their body, just contributed towards their body, but the soul belongs to Krishna. So they belong to Krishna. How can I, but they have been put under my care by Krishna. So I should take care of them as gift from Krishna. I should take care of my husband, my wife. The husband should think I should take care of my wife as a gift from Krishna. And she belongs to Krishna. Krishna has given. I need to take care of her very nicely. I need to take care of my kids very nicely. That way, we will take care of our kids much better than if we think that they are mine. Because sometimes when we think they are mine, we may get into the mentality of exploiting. But now they are not mine. They belong to Krishna, but they are under my care. And I need to take care of them and direct them towards back to who they belong to, which is Krishna. Now, this mentality is not very easy, because it's just a very natural attachment in that sense. That is real renunciation. You're taking care, but in a different consciousness. That is real renunciation. We are doing our duties, sthane sthita, wherever we are, but we are doing now these duties in a different consciousness. To give up that exploiting consciousness, to give up that mentality of I and mine, slowly, steadily, that is renunciation. Now for Krishna, because what else can we renounce? If suppose someone comes to your house and then says, I renounce this house. Does it make sense? You say, this house didn't even belong to you. How come you say, I renounce this house? So similarly, all of these things belong to Krishna. All the materials belong to Krishna. We think this is mine. We just manipulate the materials, make something else and say, because I made it in a different way, this is mine. So that mentality has to be renounced, but not the activity. We should still care, but not care thinking this is mine, care thinking that this is Krishna's, and therefore I should take more care than if it was mine. That is that mentality that is what needs to be renounced. I hope that, does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu, it does a lot. Thank you so much for wonderful explanation. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for these sessions. I actually went to Mayapur 2 years ago, but I never went to all the places so deep inside. And this was really like I was really in Mayapur and going there like day by day, just like I was going there. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji. I have a question.
Yes, Peter.
My question is, so when Jagai and Madhai, they were first, intoxicated and they all were bad and they were hitting Nityananda Prabhu, and then after that they surrendered and they said, I won't do all this stuff anymore. I'll be a very pure Vaishnava. So after said that, did they go back to Godhead? Because if they go back to Godhead, they have to still pay off for the bad things that they did a little before they surrendered. So did Jagai and Madhai go to Godhead, or did they not go to Godhead?
They went back to with Lord Chaitanya. They went back to the spiritual world with Lord Chaitanya. Because you remember when Jagai and Madhai, Lord Nityananda put a tulasi leaf in both of their hands, and then Nityananda Prabhu said, now offer this to Lord Chaitanya. And for a moment, Lord Chaitanya's body went black. Why? Because Lord Chaitanya absorbed all the sins of Jagai and Madhai, giving them a clean slate. So because this happened, that's why Yamaraj fainted in Yamaloka. Lord Shiva had to go and revive him by chanting Gauranga's name. So this is what happened. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mercy can destroy mountains and mountains of sinful reactions. No problem. In a moment, it's gone. If we really surrender to the spiritual master. And they surrendered their life to Lord Nityananda. They surrendered to the Adi Guru, Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So therefore, they were completely purified. And they promised that they will never again do any sinful activity. And we saw how Madhai served the devotees. And they participated in this Sankirtan Yagya of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they were very close associates of Mahaprabhu. They would go to Jagannath Puri every year to see Lord Chaitanya. And they would come back and help Nityananda Prabhu with the preaching of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in West Bengal. So they were very, very great Vaishnavas. They transformed. And then they went back to the spiritual world. So that's what happened.
Jagai and Madhai were bad people before. So how did they just get a ticket to go back home, back to Godhead, and they haven't even made up for all the sins they've made in the past?
That's okay. If a person wants to give up their sinful life, then Lord Chaitanya will forgive them, given the condition that they don't commit sinful actions anymore. So that was their ticket back home, back to Godhead. They earned it by surrendering to Lord Chaitanya, by surrendering to Lord Nityananda. They earned it to go back home, back to Godhead.
You see, the idea of karma is that when we do some activity, we get a reaction for that. The purpose of that reaction, what is the purpose of that reaction? Is it so others can feel good about, oh, this person now he is suffering, so I'm happy that he's suffering. It is the purpose of that karma is actually to purify that person. Why the reaction comes? Because the reason we are in this material world is to learn, is to learn to purify and go back home, back to Godhead. This is a correctional facility, so we can correct ourselves and understand, hey, I'm getting this reaction because I did something wrong. And so let me correct myself, which means to surrender to Krishna. That's the ultimate goal. All these reactions that they come for purification, so we can think and we can still surrender to Krishna or look for something with, I'm not happy, what should I do? Now, that same purification that would have come through lifetimes of karma, Lord Chaitanya gave them in a moment. Because of Lord Nityananda's mercy, he accepted all of those sinful reactions so much that his golden complexion became black for a moment and then went away. And all of the, as Kalasudha was explaining, all of the ledgers that were there of what sinful activities they're doing, what sinful reactions they will get, all gone. This is the benefit of taking shelter of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that in this very lifetime, we are here in this material world for time immemorial, and all the sins that are accruing are there. And Lord Chaitanya has come. That's why we call him merciful. Mercy means he gives something that we don't deserve. What we deserve is our karma. What Jagai Madhai deserved was that they should get their karma. But Lord Chaitanya intervened in the karma and gave mercy, gave something that they did not deserve. Mercy means intervention into the karma by the Supreme Personality who has created the law of karma. If you go to the creator of the law of karma, he can get you rid of the law of karma. but he will give you the same purification that you would have to go through multiple lifetimes. He's intervening into the karma, your karma, and changing it. When we clap in kirtan, it is said the lines in our hands, they change. Our future, our destiny changes, which means our karma changes. When we chant the holy names, one chanting of the holy name of Krishna just purely, it destroys all the sinful reactions. It is a fact. So, of course, it's not an escape route from or an excuse to do bad activities, because otherwise we will the sin will become aparad. There is a separate quota of sin and there is a separate quota for aparad. Aparad is towards Vaishnavas, towards Krishna, where we are offending. But sin is sinful activity, papa, or sinful activity. If we, after getting mercy, if we knowingly perform sinful activity, thinking that, oh, I'll chant the holy name and, I'll get the mercy, then that is an offense, that is an aparad. So, essence of the answer is that karma is for purification, and Jagai Madhai were purified much, much more than what karma would have purified through intervening into the karma and providing mercy. That's the meaning of mercy. Does that address your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for tomorrow's session.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Hare Krishna, beta. We are also excited.
Jagannathpuri Dham ki
Jai. Parameshwari Radha. You have your hand raised.
Hare
Please.
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. I'm really so happy and I have no words to explain that how much I relish these classes. Actually, it brought so much, I don't know, like I performed this parikrama physically and I had to tell that this virtual parikrama brought like more taste than doing parikrama physically, because while doing the parikrama, walking so much for me actually. Walking so much, sometimes I missed listening the classes, and it's like I remember that one day I had a dream that I was doing parikrama with you guys, with Mataji and Prabhuji. Like in our time in Bangladesh, the time it started like 6 o'clock. So I just remember like in parikrama, in real parikrama, we wake up and start to walk and we stop, and it's like I can explain that how much gave me so much spirituality, and I'm so grateful to Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. And I have a question that our gross body and our subtle body, when we work, when we perform our services with our body, sometimes our subtle body is not there. It's my problem. Like sometimes I feel that, like I feel like my physical body is engaged to that service. My subtle body is somewhere else. So how can I get rid of that, and how can I engage my subtle body more in spiritual service? Thank you so much again.
That's a very sweet question, very practical question. You see, the link between the subtle body and the gross body is the link is established by the Paramatma. The Paramatma is the linking factor. So when we are, basically when we are doing what we are doing, if we become conscious about it, when we are, it is said, na, jaise we say, oh, man laga ke karo, means put your heart to it. When you put your heart to it, then whatever you do will become very wonderful. Why does it say like that? That's because man laga ke karna means that bring your subtle body in sync with the gross body. Not that, in the gross body, okay, we are doing aarti to the Lord, but then we are thinking, oh, look how artistically my hands are moving. Devotees are watching this. They'll glorify my artistic movement of my hand. This is called disconnect between subtle body and gross body. But rather, if we think that we are so fortunate, we don't deserve to be in the audience of the Lord, direct audience of the Lord. We have gotten this opportunity by the mercy of our Guru Maharaj, that he has allowed us to perform this service of rendering an arti service to the Lord. If we think like this, then even whether we are on the altar or whether we are cleaning the toilet, both the activities will be on the same platform for Krishna. Just like Lord Ramachandra, when the squirrel was putting a little sand of grain of sand, the squirrel was putting. Hanuman was putting big boulders. Hanuman started laughing. Hey, look what you're doing. But Lord Ramachandra said, Hanuman, you are doing the best according to your capacity. The squirrel is doing the best according to its capacity. So this is the thing, that when we do things consciously, when we are totally focused that why am I doing even something as simple as chanting our japa? Why are we chanting our japa? Are we chanting to finish our 16 rounds? Is that the objective of chanting our japa? Then we will achieve that objective. We will finish our rounds every day. But are we chanting that my spiritual master has instructed me to chant? Srila Prabhupada has said, if we chant 16 rounds every day, Srila Prabhupada will definitely take us back to Godhead. And this is the way that we can please Guru and Krishna. If we chant in this consciousness, automatically we will develop the link of connecting our gross body with our subtle body. So being conscious. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. Please bless me so that I can focus more. Really having so much struggling with my mind that it's so difficult for me. I don't know why. I feel like my body is engaged in so many services, but my mind is somewhere else. Maybe it's possible by the mercy of Vaishnavas. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I'd like to add another comment that the best thing I learned from this class, I live in Bangladesh, which is so close to Mahaprabhu's Dham, Mayapur. But even though I never felt this way, that Mahaprabhu is so kind, your class brought me this way, this consciousness, like Mandir, Kalasudha Mataji, you are mentioning that Nityananda Prabhu is saying that if you need holy name, just ask for it, And Lord Krishna saying that Sarva Dharmana Paritarjan, how merciful we can understand that I'm so grateful, Mataji, and please bless me so that we can Chaitanya Chandra Daya Karaho Vichar Korile Chitte Paive Chamatkar, so that I can Chamatkar, so that I can consider this kindness of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda in my heart.
Thank you, Parameshwari. Very beautiful realization. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any other comments, questions?
Thank you all for your comments. Sneha Mataji, Santoshi Kumari Mataji, Vinita Mataji, Anju Agarwal Mataji, Manju Mataji, thank you for your comments here. Shyamavallavi Mataji, Kala Prabhu, Shriti Gupta Mataji, Flavier, Mother Flavier, thank you so much. Suraj, good to hear from you. Jasmina Mataji and Ranjini Gopika Mataji, thank you for all of your comments. Wonderful. Rasika Chaudhary Mataji, thank you again. Shanti Mataji, Rasmita Mataji.
So anyone else want to share their realizations?
Right, if not, we will end today. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow in Shri Purushottam Kshetra, Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.